Have you ever wondered why some people succeed again and again, while others stay stuck in the same place for years? Is it intelligence, talent, luck? Psychologists say the real answer is much deeper. Successful people often think differently from everyone else. They train their minds in ways most people never notice. And the strange part is, many of these psychological habits are invisible. In this video, you'll discover the hidden psychology behind successful people and how you can use the same mindset in your own life. Most people believe success begins with action, but psychology suggests success actually begins with identity. The famous psychologist William James once said, "Human beings can alter their lives by altering their attitudes of mind." What if your future is not decided by one big moment, but by tiny decisions you barely notice? One extra hour of sleep, one more scroll on social media, one day skipped at the gym, one small decision to study instead of procrastinate. Most people think success or failure comes from huge choices, but psychology says something different. Your life is shaped by the small decisions you repeat every single day. And the scary part? Most of these decisions happen automatically, without you even realizing it. Psychologist William James once said, "All our life, so far as it has definite form, is but a mass of habits." In simple words, your habits become your future. Every small action sends a signal to your brain about who you are becoming. When you wake up early, your brain notices. When you keep procrastinating, your brain notices that too. Watching videos is easier than working out. Staying comfortable feels safer than taking action. Psychologist Daniel Kahneman explained this in his research about fast and slow thinking. Your brain prefers quick pleasure because it requires less mental effort. But here's the problem. Easy choices often create difficult futures, and difficult choices often create easier futures. Studying today feels hard, but ignorance later becomes harder. Exercising today feels painful, but poor health becomes more painful. Saving money feels restrictive, but financial stress feels worse. Your future is hidden inside today's small decisions. Every decision you make becomes evidence for the type of person you believe you are. If you keep your promises to yourself, your confidence grows. If you constantly quit, your brain starts believing you are weak. This is called the identity effect in psychology. Small decisions don't just change results, they change self-image. One small disciplined action can slowly transform your end. Philosopher Aristotle said, "We are what we repeatedly do, not what we plan, not what we dream about, but what we repeatedly do." So the next time you think a small decision doesn't matter, remember this. Your future is not built in one dramatic moment. It is built quietly through hundreds of invisible choices. The decision to wake up, the decision to start, the decision to continue when you don't feel motivated. Small decisions may feel weak in the present, but over time, they become your entire life. And maybe that's why successful people don't focus only on huge goals. They focus on winning small moments every single day, because in the end, your future is simply the result of the decisions you repeat the most. Philosopher Aristotle said, "We are what we repeatedly do, not what we plan, not what we dream about, but what we repeatedly do." So the next time you think a small decision doesn't matter, remember this. Your future is not built in one dramatic moment. It is built quietly through hundreds of invisible choices. The decision to wake up, the decision to start, the decision to continue when you don't feel motivated. Small decisions may feel weak in the present, but over time, they become your entire life. And maybe that's why successful people don't focus only on huge goals. They focus on winning small moments every single day, because in the end, your future is simply the result of the decisions you repeat the most. Time. And the longer you stay inside it, the harder it becomes to leave. But the good news is, you don't need to change your entire life today. You only need one uncomfortable action, one step, one risk, one moment of courage. Because courage is not the absence of fear, it's acting while fear is still present. Years from now, you will either thank yourself for starting or regret staying comfortable. So ask yourself, what is your comfort zone already stealing from you? And more importantly, How much longer will you let it? If this video changed your perspective, subscribe for more psychology and self-improvement videos. Manipulative people resent them. As emotionally intelligent individuals grow older, they stop measuring relationships by quantity. They begin measuring them by quality. One genuine friend becomes more valuable than 100 shallow acquaintances. One honest conversation becomes more meaningful than endless small talk. One peaceful evening becomes more satisfying than constant social approval. And this is where society often gets confused. The world frequently treats solitude like a problem. If someone spends time alone, people assume they must be lonely. If someone enjoys silence, people assume they are unhappy. If someone prefers a small circle, people assume they lack social skills. But solitude and loneliness are not the same thing. Because peace is valuable. Once you've experienced genuine inner calm, chaos loses its appeal. Drama stops feeling exciting. Toxic relationships stop feeling normal. Constant conflict stops feeling necessary. And something fascinating happens. You begin choosing peace over popularity. You begin choosing authenticity over approval. You begin choosing truth over comfort. This transformation is powerful because it changes your relationship with fear. For most people, the fear of rejection controls their decisions. The fear of being disliked, the fear of being excluded, the fear of standing alone. But emotionally intelligent people eventually discover something liberating. Being alone is far less painful than betraying yourself. Pretending to fit in becomes exhausting. Ignoring your instincts becomes exhausting. Accepting disrespect becomes exhausting. Eventually, authenticity becomes easier than performance, and that is when confidence begins to grow. Real confidence is not loud. It doesn't need attention. It doesn't need validation. It doesn't need an audience. Real confidence comes from self-trust, trusting your judgment, trusting your instincts, trusting your values, trusting yourself enough to walk away from what damages your peace. This is why emotionally intelligent people often appear calm. Not because life is easy, not because they never struggle, but because they have learned something important. Not every battle deserves their energy. Not every argument deserves their attention. Not every opinion deserves their response. Wisdom is not knowing how to fight every fight. Wisdom is knowing which fights are worth fighting. As this understanding deepens, something remarkable happens. Sensitivity transforms into strength. What once felt like a burden becomes an advantage. Their awareness becomes insight. Their empathy becomes understanding. Their observation becomes wisdom. Instead of absorbing everyone's emotions, they learn to understand them without carrying them. Instead of rescuing everyone, they learn to support without sacrificing themselves. Instead of seeking acceptance, they learn to seek alignment. And alignment changes everything. Because when your actions match your values, life becomes simpler. Not easier, simpler. You stop chasing people who do not appreciate you. You stop explaining yourself to people determined to misunderstand you. You stop shrinking yourself to fit environments that were never meant for you. And suddenly, you feel lighter. Not because the world changed, because you changed. The greatest lesson emotionally intelligent people eventually learn is this. Your peace is precious. Your energy is valuable. Your attention is limited. And where you invest these things determines the quality of your life. The strongest people are not the ones who never feel pain. They are the ones who feel deeply without allowing that depth to destroy them. They remain kind without becoming naive, open without becoming vulnerable to everyone, compassionate without abandoning themselves. That balance is rare. And in a world filled with noise, distraction, and superficial connection, it becomes a quiet form of power. Perhaps that is why some of the most emotionally intelligent people walk a different path. Not because they reject humanity, but because they understand it. Not because they fear connection, but because they value genuine connection. And not because they are lonely, but because they have discovered something many people spend their entire lives searching for: the ability to be at peace with themselves. And once a person finds that kind of peace, they stop chasing the crowd. Because they realize the greatest relationship they will ever build is the one they have with their own mind.